Have you ever heard of Goof Troop? If you haven't, you're missing out. I'm not talking about the cartoon that inspired the game, although that was not too bad either. The Super Nintendo game Goof Troop was officially released in 1993 by none other than Capcom. In fact, Shinji Mikami, the game designer of Goof Troop, is the same guy who's been behind of many of the Resident Evil games. Fortunately, you don't have to fight any zombies in this game, so you won't ever have to worry about looking like this. This game is an action-adventure hidden gem. To kick things off, you get a choice of playing either as Goofy or Max. Whilst Goofy is slow, he's also a pretty strong boy. In contrast, Max is zippy but needs to hit enemies twice in order to defeat them. I decided to go with the big boy. After all, you can't beat those flappy ears and charisma.
Ready, set, go! Nothing can compare to the ease and grace of
The gameplay is somewhat similar to Legend of Zelda, with all due respect to one of the biggest series out there. There's enemies lurking around, many puzzles to solve, essential items to be used, and of course bosses. In terms of visuals, the cartoonistic approach looks quite nice and reminds players of the actual TV show. Also, the whole game is played from an eagle's eye perspective, which is handy as you can scan the entire surroundings for enemies and plan your next move. Most of the times anyway. Speaking of enemies, you're usually facing either pirates or animals. Even though they're not exactly tricky, they do get harder as you go through the stages. To defeat the enemies, we have to make use of the in-game items. For example, you can grab a barrel and chuck it at them. Other things that can be done is to use some of the items you collect, such as this hook shot. This thing stuns the bad fellas and can also push them off into oblivion. The using of the items is quite fun actually, and it does have a feel of RPG to it. Apart from the hook shot, we got a bill, a shovel, and a very useful plank of wood to make bridges. What about the puzzles? Well, more often than not, they're quite easy. A few of them require some actual thinking, and at times there's a complicating factor in the form of a fire-spitting statue. If you make a mistake, don't worry, simply leave the area and come back again so everything is reset. This is especially important for the puzzles, as it facilitates trial and error. Aside from being relatively easy, the main criticism I had is that Goof Troop is quite short. Highlighting that is me finishing the game in under 2 hours. Trust me, I'm not a speedrunner by any means. In fact, there's only 5 stages: beach, pirate village, castle, cave, and pirate ship. At the end of each, a big bad boss awaits. Unfortunately, as stated a couple times, the game is kinda easy and so are the bosses. Defeating them takes only grabbing stuff and chucking at them. That also includes the last fight, which gets slightly tougher but not by much. All in all, I had heaps of fun playing Goof Troop. It was one of those not so known games that positively surprised me. Definitely a much needed break from playing shitty games, which I've been doing for a while, and if you haven't watched my past videos, I recommend you do so to check some of the worst games out there. So there you have it, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I'll catch you in the next one.